Five Nights at Freddy's has a lot of mysteries scattered throughout the series. From some missing children to digital manifestations, it's safe to say that FNaF is, well, confusing. But there's one question that has always stuck with me no matter how many times I revisit the games. How many FNaF games do we actually play as Michael Afton? It's one of those things where the more you look into it, the more confusing yet interesting it gets. So today I'm going through to try and piece everything together, game by game, and figure out how many times we physically step into Michael's shoes. If you enjoy these types of videos, consider subscribing and leaving a like. It really helps me out, and according to YouTube, only 1.3% of you are actually subscribed. With all that out of the way, I hope you enjoy. FNaF 1 gives us the name Michael Schmidt on the paycheck we earn after completing the first 5 nights. A lot of fans think that Michael Schmidt could be Michael Afton, and there's a lot of good evidence behind it. The FNaF 1 movie kinda confirms that Michael Afton is Michael Schmidt, with him being called Michael Schmidt in the movie. But that's not all the evidence we have for this. The survival logbook also has a bunch of clues. The book literally says it belongs to Michael Schmidt, and inside there are references to things that only Mike, in the games, would have seen by now. So unless Mike Afton picked up Mike Schmidt's logbook after some random event, then I think it's pretty safe to say that Michael Schmidt is Mike Afton. But again, that's not the only evidence that we have. After completing all nights in FNaF 1, you can get a firing slip that says Mike Schmidt on it, and the reasons are tampering with animatronics and bad odor. This seems to be referring to when Michael Afton gets scooped at the end of Sister Location and literally becomes a rotting purple guy. So at this point, I think it's confirmed that Michael Afton is Mike Schmidt in FNaF 1. FNaF 2 overall kinda gives me a headache if I'm being completely honest. But for this situation, it actually is very clear on if Mike is the FNaF 2 security guard. In nights 1 through 6, we play as Jeremy Fitzgerald. And Jeremy basically has nothing actually tying him to Michael Afton. Some theories even go as far as saying that Jeremy Fitzgerald is the Bite of 87 victim, which makes him completely separate from Michael entirely. Regardless if Jeremy Fitzgerald is the Bite of 87 victim or not, it doesn't change our outcome here. When we get to FNaF 2's custom night, we play as a completely different security guard under the name Fritz Smith. And Fritz gets fired for the exact same reason as Mike in FNaF 1, messing with animatronics and bad odor. So this outright disproves that Jeremy Fitzgerald is Mike Afton. My only big issue here with Fritz Smith being Michael Afton is figuring out whether or not Custom Night is canon, and if it is, why would Michael still be working there after the place shuts down? It doesn't really make sense for Michael to be there on the last day just for the place to shut down the next day. I think regardless, it's pretty safe to say that Fritz Smith is Michael Afton, considering that they got fired for the exact same reasons.
Michael, don't leave me here. Michael.
FNaF 3 gives us no name and no paycheck. It literally gives us nothing. But there are some really key details that if you pay attention to the game, you'll understand that Michael Afton is the one we play as in FNaF 3. The hallucinations that the player sees are old animatronics from FNaF 1 and 2. This fits perfectly if the night guard is Michael Afton. These would have been things he's genuinely terrified by from previous jobs. The ending also has the attraction burned down, which lines up with Michael trying to take down his father after all these years, if we're assuming that is his plan. Which honestly, I don't know why you would ever go to any of these places unless that was the plan. Some people do try and argue that the night guard could be Henry Emily, since Henry is also tied to burning down Freddy's locations just like in Pizza Sim, but Michael fits better from a character arc perspective. I think in this case, it's pretty safe to say that Michael Afton is the protagonist in FNaF 3. FNaF 4 is where it gets super confusing. The minigame perspective in FNaF 4 is of a child, the crying child. These minigames show his life, his trauma, and the events leading up to the Bite of 83. So you'd think he's the protagonist, right? If we take a look back at the survival logbook, which we know is owned by Michael Afton now, it has drawings of Nightmare Fredbear, which suggests that Michael has seen the Nightmare animatronics before. There's even an Easter egg referring to the FNAF 1 Night 1 phone call, something that only Michael would have heard. Depending on who you actually think is experiencing the nights would change the outcome if Michael is the protagonist for FNAF 4. Personally, I believe that we play as Michael Afton during the nights and the crying child during the days, so we're just gonna go ahead and count it. Sister location is basically confirmed beyond any doubt. Michael's custom night dialogue spills everything.
I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
We know that he's the one that gets scooped, we know Ennard is the one that uses his body as a disguise, and somehow after all that, he's still alive. If that's not enough evidence, Hand Unit even throws a little hint towards the protagonist being Mike. So again, without a doubt, sister location is 100% Michael Afton. Pizza Sim gives us another big hint. Henry's final speech is directed at someone right where they want to be, and that wouldn't make any sense if it was just some random worker. It fits Michael perfectly since his whole post-sister location mission is to find and stop his father. So I'm just gonna say it, we play as Michael Afton in Pizza Sim. I don't think we play as anyone else, unless it's an unknown character.
I always come back.
Ultimate Custom Night is pretty easy. You don't play as Michael Afton, instead you play as William Afton. UCN is William's personal torture chamber. The animatronics speak directly to him, hate him, and constantly bring up the one you should not have killed. It's William living through his own hell over and over again. After Pizzeria Sim, Henry's dialogue heavily implies that Michael Afton dies in the fire along with everything else. His mission is finished. And honestly, it feels like Scott intentionally kept the protagonist vague to maintain that FNAF mystery. I mean, especially in games like FNAF 4. It also helps keep the player feeling like they're the night guard rather than some random character, which adds a lot of tension to actually playing the games. But that's every FNAF game that we play as Michael Afton. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you want more videos like this, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.